Show, coming to you live this morning from the Mushroom Kingdom WKBAG Studios. Wario, K-Rule, Bowser, Andros, Gannon. This is Video Games, a comedy show. I'm your host, Jeremy Schmidt, and we got a great episode lined up for you today. We got Michael Hearn on the program. Michael, say hello.
Hello, nice people.
Absolutely, and your sound effect is...
Coach Greg, in today's video, calling out Michael Hearn in person. As you know, I was at the Mr. Olympia for the first time in 12 years.
It's good to see you, pal. Always
Thank
good to see
you.
you.
Too.
We have, of course, and I would say, the belle of the ball here for today's episode. The person who today's episode is, in fact, all about. We have, of course, the incredulous, the incredible Alex Gaskin. Hello, Alex.
Hey, how we doing?
Doing good. Trying to figure out Twitch. Get me out of here. Where am I? My computer's making sounds. It's horrible. Where's the mute button? There we go. Okay. Alex, you're 20. Here we go.
Alex is the man. Alex understands. Alex speaks of all the girls so neatly in his hand.
Flawless victory.
Okay, great. We love it.
Excellent.
Yeah, I've been every time I have to do anything on Twitch, I feel like a mad scientist with beakers, and I've got a ticker tape running, and it's stressful, and I'm also making a pot pie and it's burning, and I'm like, oh my god, there's so many things I have to juggle at once. It's hard. It's hard to do a live show.
I believe it.
Yeah. It's also hard to stay consistent with a live show. If you were showing up to Twitch last week and you were expecting a live show, you were fucking wrong, baby. You were so wrong. I was having a birthday party instead. But yeah, welcome to the show, fellas.
Thank you.
We'll get into the main event a little bit later. Alex Gaskin has hit a huge milestone in his gaming career, and we're going to essentially help him figure out what's going to happen next with his life, and help him hopefully avoid making a terrible gaming mistake.
I got to tell you, pal, I think I already know what the next step in my life is, and we'll get into that.
Okay, well, Hearn and I are going to try we're going to do our due diligence to try to help you avoid quite possibly the biggest gaming blunder of your entire life. But before that, look, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/Super NPC Radio. You can find just a bunch of bonus stuff from the makers of this show, Call Me By Your Game, etc., etc. We are rounding the corner on our Hollow Knight Games Club. We replayed that game. We talked about it. We did a whole season on it. And we just announced our new Games Club theme for our patrons to go vote on. Are you guys ready to hear the new theme?
I'm dying to hear it.
Yes.
Well, because Hollow Knight was so hard for everybody involved.
Yeah.
We decided that the theme for Q4 2024 was going to be baby games.
Oh, enjoy Bloodborne.
Yes. Yeah. I did half expect there was to be like some tomfoolery and some shenanigans to go down in terms of what people were going to interpret as baby games, but almost everyone interpreted it around the same thing, which was easy games that almost anyone can get through. The nominees are, and I think I could do this off the dome because I just talked about them. Spyro the Dragon, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Bug Snacks.
Delicious.
Mario and Luigi Partners in Time.
Love it.
And then, of course, Death Stranding.
Perfect.
The most baby of all the games.
Yeah.
It's learning how to walk, literally. So
I did think there was going to be more Death Stranding type nominations of games that were hard, but I just had a baby in them. And we narrowly avoided it. But Death Stranding is in there, and we will play it if it does get voted on. So patrons, what is it? You have the opportunity to do the most hilarious thing ever, the funniest thing ever.
That's make us all
play Death Stranding. Look, we're not just the video game fellas here. Okay, we love games. That's what this show's all about. When I got these other two freaking characters in here. We got the fucking movie boys, baby. These are the movie boys.
Well,
I got the movie boys.
Hold on,
here.
let me
It's
turn off
true.
my projector that's going off in the background so I can hear you better.
Yeah, I can hear the film just fluttering by.
35 millimeter or bust, baby.
Yeah. So along with asking these two handsome devils what they've been playing, I'm going to be asking them also what they've been watching.
Okay.
Alex Gaskin, let's start with you.
Yeah, let's
Trick
do it.
question.
So, what have I been watching these days?
You can answer. You can start with whatever you want, watching
Buddy,
or playing.
I got laid off from my main job, so what haven't I been watching?
Hold on. We have something for that. Anytime you get engaged, laid off, or just beat a game. Boom.
Okay.
Three
Okay.
most important things in life.
Yeah. Those
Definitely
are the most
didn't get the fun version of that, but okay.
I don't know. Fun employed, some people call it.
I mean, it is more fun than going to work. Am I right? Oh God, how am I going to pay rent? Anyways, I have been a real movie fiend thanks to the AMC Plus Pass. AMC Theaters. It's not a video game, but check it out anyway.
You know what? That place, it needs an arcade. Wouldn't that be such a boon to the AMCs if they put back arcades?
Some of them do still have arcades. The one I went to earlier this week still had a pretty basic arcade, but it had
which one? Hearn seems to know of this.
Oh yeah.
We were talking a little before.
Yeah, AMC is Times Square in Monterey Park.
Yeah.
Confusing because it's not in New York, but it has its own little arcade. It's very spaced out. It's a lot of weird random games, like a very old Miss Pac-Man, like in a dark corner. Like the true essence of gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, it ain't a quality arcade cabinet if it isn't all cummed up. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what have you been playing?
Yeah. No.
I mean, watching.
Yeah, there you go. I just watched the new Hong Kong film, Twilight of the Warriors, Walled In. Had a blast. Really enjoyed it. It's good. It's a good summer popcorn film.
Is it a recommend or recommend?
It's a recommend. It's a recommend it like Beckham.
Okay.
People don't know he was really good at sewing.
Yeah. And what was one of the highlights of this film? Like if you're gonna Roger Eberted it, what would you do? What would you say about it?
If you care particularly about like action movies and like Hong Kong cinema for the last like 20, 30, 40 years, you'll get a little treat or two. So,
okay, this isn't quite the Ebert review I was hoping for, Alex. With puns and such.
Oh, buddy, that's not Ebert territory. That's Gene Shalit territory.
I need to watch a lot more Ebert so I can riff in his voice. I would love to be able to just like do Ebert suddenly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, as real critics say, he's more like the Gene Shalit who not be named.
Yeah. This week, Volcano hit theaters, but it left me feeling cold. That's like an Ebert
That's
thing.
accurate.
That's solid. Yeah.
Yeah. That was like the worst I could do. I could if I give me a week, I could do much better Ebert stuff.
Yeah. Okay, let me give it a shot. Twilight of the Warriors, more like Mid-Afternoon of the Warriors, because I'm pretty refreshed and in good spirits.
Cool.
And not tired.
And we'll give that one of these. But only a half.
Double here, 4 Eberts.
4.
Yeah, so I watched that. I finally watched Trap.
And
the new
what'd you
Josh
think of
Hartnett
that?
film. Fantastic. Had a blast. Very fun.
Glad. Yeah.
That old school,
you could be a little buster over here and be like, no, stinks. But that would just be you being a buster, you know?
There's only one film recently that I've watched that was kind of a dud. And it came on the back of a recommendation from a good friend of mine I used to trust.
And what was that film called?
Oh, well, first let me mention who this friend was, because I don't want him to like not, be a part of this. Mr. Jeremy Schmidt.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And what was the film called?
The film was Deadpool and Wolverine.
I'm sorry, we couldn't hear you. What was it?
It was Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah, more like Dead on Arrival.
We got Conzi in the chat. Connor McCabe in the chat. Hey, Connor. Good to see you. Sup, hotties, he says. Look, man, I tried to tweet from the VGA comedy Twitter account? It straight up told me no, and then told me I couldn't tweet from my own account. I don't know what's going on, but that's more. I'm like calling out. Troubleshoot it.
Yeah,
probably got suspended for something.
Oh, he's eating ramen. Okay, so Alex,
yo,
you did not like Deadpool and Wolverine.
I did not like Deadpool and Wolverine.
Okay.
The whole comic book genre.
Fuck? I'll look into it. I'm kidding, Connor. Don't look into it. No, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, Deadpool and Wolverine, famously not something that video gamers like. So I don't think this will hurt your show at all for me to say that it's stunk and it's for babies.
Whoa!
Damn.
Yeah.
If only it was a game, it could have been nominated on this this new games club.
Yeah, you're right. I think I will nominate it, actually. Is it too late to throw it in there?
We just have to watch it every week and review it again?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry you didn't like that, pal. I'm glad you did like Trap. I do think... Here's my thing about Trap.
Yeah.
And I will say... Hearn, have you seen Trap?
Yes.
Okay. And this is like... Not really a... This isn't much of a spoiler, but it's a tiny spoiler. So freaking format your hard drive right now, delete this episode, scrub yourself from the internet if you don't want to hear a tiny, light, barely spoiler for Trap. I don't like when they're not trapped.
Oh.
And they weren't trapped long enough. I want to be trapped the whole time.
Here's the thing, buddy.
You know what you want to see trapped? And he's only trapped a little bit.
He was only physically trapped, but you could argue there is a larger, more conceptual trap
and
from
if
which
you were
he
to make
must
that
decide to
argument,
escape.
I would off myself.
Oh.
So be careful. Be careful.
All right. Let's not make this argument because otherwise we'll get Jeremy off or whatever he said.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
No, I thought trapped the whole time. That's what Hitchcock would have done.
You never know with that Hitchcock guy. He was all over the place.
Okay.
I mean,
sometimes he has birds kill people. Sometimes it's humans. Like, be consistent, you know?
When he says rope, I'm going to be in this room the whole time. He means it.
Yeah, but he made so many movies where they weren't in the room the whole time.
But those movies weren't called Rope.
Yeah, they were called other things. Another inconsistency.
You know, I've been holding on to this for a while. I saw Terry Grant go all sorts of directions in North by Northwest, not just.
Oh wow,
So,
we are through the looking glass.
I think Hitchcock's been having this come for him for a long time. He's got a lot to answer.
Am I one of Hitchcock's films right now? Because I feel like a psycho staring at all this man's contradictions.
And Marnie. Alex, what have you been playing anything? I mean, it's sort of. I guess I'll have to get to that in the minute.
You might have to get to it.
All right. Well, Hearn, let's move on to you.
All right.
Let's start with what you've been watching.
What I've been watching. For the nerds of filmdom in LA, especially, there was a retrospective of this filmmaker at the Los Feliz Free and Arrow Theaters called Simon Lang, who is a Taiwanese director, and I watched 3 of his films because he was there for 2 of them, and it was really cool. It's hard to recommend his films since at the moment they don't seem to be streaming and they're kind of very art house and semi-inaccessible. But I think what's cool about them, especially seeing them in theaters, is they do make you you have to be very patient and very observant. And then on top of that, I don't know. Also, it was cool to see like a good Chinese crowd came out for like these films because he's a Taiwanese filmmaker. And it was cool to see like people in LA who like asked him a question in Chinese and there were a translator who helped answer and do the back and forth. And it was a cool guy.
That's
I grew
badass.
up, yeah,
actually.
watching. Yeah, it's cool that you can do that. I think he was in New York before, and I think he's going to Canada for something soon. But it's like, yeah, LA is lucky enough to get that type of thing. And this was a guy I liked when I was getting into films, watched some of his films on tape at the library. So it was like, oh, cool. I get to see this guy who's still alive, still making films, still talking about his old films in person. It was nifty.
So when you were earlier speaking about how it's better to see them in theaters because you want to be full attentive and engaged or whatever, is it because they're maybe traditionally would be considered slower?
People call him in like the slow cinema circles, like how Bellatar would be or something. But he's a little more accessible in the sense that like Simon Lane films are like less than 2 hours each. One of the films I saw was 90 minutes. 2 of the ones I saw were called The Hole and The Wayward Cloud, and they both are kind of quasi musicals where like he takes Chinese songs or something and like does musical pieces inside a film that feels normally like how he does. And I feel like that's like those were like his most off-brand, like experimental films, but they were still like pretty accessible, I think, in that sense. But I do think it is for like the art nerds, the art heads, the Criterion Collection owners, and all that.
The real studs,
the hunts, the beefcakes.
The real men of society, Criterion Collection owners.
Yes.
Muscular hearts, muscular minds.
From Micro Hearns of it all.
Bodies chiseled.
Oh yeah.
Taiwanese slow cinema.
Well, that's a great answer. I love that. And I love that both of these answers were two fellas taking their asses out of their house and getting their asses in those seats at the theaters.
That's true. My ass has been a lot of places recently.
I'm so happy for you guys. I feel
ass
like
gets around.
I have been like uncomfortably not going to the theater lately. Like I've just been so busy.
Are you sick?
I know. I just been so busy that I haven't had a chance to go. I did see Trap. Love that. I think that was the last movie I saw. Jackie and I saw something before that, but it might have been Longlegs, which is something we saw with Alex.
Oh,
so
that
I don't
was a
know.
blast.
But that was a long time ago, though. That was like a month ago, at least.
That's true. Yeah, that's like 6 years in going to the movie time.
Well, for me, especially because I've never... And look, folks, I don't want to dox myself, but I never have lived closer to a theater than I do now. I live so close to a theater. Hearn, what have you been playing?
All right. Started up the new season of Fortnite with Kelsey, which is ironically, I'm sorry to say this because of all the Deadpool Wolverine hatred that I'm sensing on half the room. But
well, a lot of video game lovers hate comic books, so you're okay.
And they're going to be so pissed to hear that Fortnite is a lot of comic book stuff, a lot of Doom, a lot of
X-Men
weaponry around X-Men. Yes,
it's like they don't know their market at all.
Yeah, it's very foolish.
I saw Cyclops dancing.
Yeah, Cyclops, he does the hump, and then you get one of the weapons that my fiance Kelsey really likes is the Captain America shield.
Wait a minute, what'd you say?
That my fiance. Pretty sure I've tried that before.
What? I don't think you've been on the show since you've been engaged, though.
Maybe not. I don't know. It's hard to say, but I like saying it a lot anyway. Maybe I have. But
is this the Sonic the Hedgehog podcast? Because we're collecting rings, baby.
Oh, I noticed you're not opting to take the French spin on the word fiancé.
Yeah, all right. Really lean into it. No, I'm not opting for that. Apparently,
you got to say it like Beyonce, fiancé.
Yeah, fiancé. Yeah, that's right. I got to make it rhyme like Kanye did. No. Been doing the Fortnite, and then I think did I tell you about this? I've been playing SteamWorld Heist 2.
Oh, great.
Most recent new game of
I bet that's awesome.
It's pretty good. I think it's easy to recommend just SteamWorld Heist 1 if no one's played that yet, because that's still a pretty obscure game. And this is like kind of tangentially parallel, like there's not too much new or too much old. But the new thing about it, the like tropical setting that turns it from space pirates to like real robot pirates, is a fun little twist. And it has like a very like dredgy like map where you're on a boat and you're getting into fights on like the open seas while you're also doing the levels of SteamWorld Heist. Which I think SteamWorld Heist is a very fun game, so it's easy to be into those parts at least the most.
That's great. Is it a recommend or a recommend?
A recommend it like Beckham, yes.
That's great. Yeah, I loved man, it feels like such a long time ago that SteamWorld Dig came out. Like the original SteamWorld Dig, which they've offshot so many games from that.
Yeah.
The SteamWorld Heist is fun.
Yeah. No, that was, I think it still is my favorite of the bunch, I would say. Yeah. And SteamWorld Dig 2
even compared to 2?
Really good. Yeah, but only because I haven't seen probably all of Heist 2 and maybe there's more surprises. We'll see. But I think just in general, those are like the two real big games. And then I don't know, like I like that SteamWorld goes all over the places with genres, but I don't like always care about like, building games like the SteamWorld Build one or the card game that they had, SteamWorld Quest is like all right, but like I'm not a fan of always those. Like I think that and Slay the Spire are the only ones I've ever really played. But the Heist ones, it's really ingenious. My pitch is it's 2D XCOM, which is really interesting because I don't think there's never a game quite like that. So
yeah,
real nifty.
That's great. I have been watching. Well, I haven't been to the theater, so I guess I'll give myself a little one of these. But I have I did, get a couple of brand new Criterions in the mail. Got a couple of new ones. And watched them. Cleared them. Just cleared them. Watched them both. The two that I wanted to talk about that I loved so much was I got that 4-disc Pat Garrett Billy the Kid set.
Wow.
That they dropped. And of course, it's screaming in 4K on that TV. Oh, never look. Pat Garrett, Bob Dylan never looked better in that movie. He also looks like he doesn't know what he's doing or where he is half the time.
Well,
have you guys seen this movie, Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid? The Sam
I have not.
Peckinpah?
Seen it a while back. Yeah. I remember liking it a lot.
It's interesting. It's like a really it almost feels like more of a thing you'd find in I don't know, in your in the trash bin at a recycled books or something. It just feels like it's definitely not, I would say, not one of his masterworks, but it is a cool curiosity because again, Bob Dylan's in the movie as a character. Chris Christopherson plays Billy the Kid. He doesn't look. No one looks right. No one looks like they belong really in the movie. And then it's, of course, Peckinpah, so it's hyper violent. All the special features are where that movie really sings, though, because it's all the stories are the actors had to get up and get daily B12 shots in their ass every day because everyone had pneumonia because they were all alcoholics.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's the 70s. We miss them. And then the other one I got was To Die For in 4K. That Gus Van Sant, Nicole Kidman film.
Yeah.
This is a film, and this was one of those, as we all have done, I'm sure in the past, bought the film on a whim. Just been I had never seen To Die For before. But I love Gus. I love I love Nicole Kidman. Heart Blake feels good in a place like this. And that is one of the best Nicole Kidman performances I've ever seen. I could not believe this movie existed. I was like, I've never heard of this movie, and it's so outrageous. It is so insane.
I remember it being advertised when I was a kid, when it was coming out, but I have not seen it.
Yeah,
it's really good. And the whole cast is really on all cylinders, really, really good.
A young Joaquin Phoenix is in there, and he's as good as ever in it. It is a wild movie. If you love world-class performances, star-making performances,
I could take him or leave him.
Go watch that movie. Also, if you love just extreme performances too, Nicole Kidman's character is just so horrible in it. It's great, I
love it.
Anyways,
but, I hate to be that guy, but since we're talking as real film bros here, me and Michael, everyone knows that a real film fan buys a Criterion and then waits 6 months to watch it, pal. So demerits.
Even demerits. Even better if you buy a Blu-ray and then don't watch it until the 4K finally comes out.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, exactly. Actually, well, if I proved to you that I have done both of those things in the last month, will I get my credits back?
What do you say, Alex? I say,
I suppose.
Okay, because first of all, the Kieslowski set.
Yeah.
That was once in Blu-ray, now in 4K. I waited till the 4K came out to watch the Blu-ray.
Nice.
So I owned that. Didn't even see red, white, or blue until then. The second thing I'll say is I have owned a copy of Orson Welles' The Trial since it was released, and still have not watched it.
Nice.
There you go.
All right, there you go. I undemerit you.
Sometimes though you do get one and you're like, oh, I'm watching it right now. I just got it.
That's what you do, and then you wait a year and you watch it.
Okay. Oh, I've been playing a game, Alex. You might be interested in this, and this even might feed into a little bit of our conversation later.
Oh, we'll see.
But I've been playing a game called Final Fantasy VI for the Super Nintendo. Ever heard of it?
Maybe. Maybe I have.
I have never finished this game.
I thought you said it was your favorite.
No, seven's my favorite. 6 is. I have probably gotten to, I would say 3/4 done with the game before in my lifetime. I've restarted it several times. I mean, maybe 20 times I've played through the beginning opening chapters of it, thinking this would be the time, you know? But friend of the show, Jacques Maladou, has been playing through every game on his Super Nintendo Classic.
Nice.
And got to this one, and I told him, you know, I was like, look, when you get to Final Fantasy VI, let me know, and I'll play alongside you. I'll be playing it across town. We can chat about it. And he texted me that he started, and I thought, hey, it's as good a game as any to start in this like new room I got set up here. So I started playing Final Fantasy VI. Man, rumors are true, guys.
Yeah.
Game's good.
Yeah. You know,
game's pretty good.
I have recently discovered a real fondness for turn-based games that I did not have as a child, but well, we'll get to it. But
yeah.
Sounds like I'm just going to have to just smile and nod politely through this one, but we'll discuss it.
I'm going to make a bold claim here, and Hearn, as somebody who you have played it, right?
I played it, also never beaten it.
Okay. Oh, maybe you're not. Maybe neither of you are good or a good like sounding board for this idea. But my kind of bold claim is, I think that's the best one.
Oh.
I'm not even done. And I'm like, I love Final Fantasy VII. But I think 6 is just like the best one. And I'm having a hard time even describing why I think that. I think it just has everything you'd ever want and no real fat. Like no real things I would cut. And it's way more fun. Like, and by fun I mean like, it's having it itself is having more fun than Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy VII is very dour,
more of a light tone.
It's also got drama. It's got it all.
I know there's dramatic stuff, but I mean, even with that can always have like a sense of whimsy to it. Like operatically dramatic versus, man, world's going to go to hell in the handbasket.
Yeah, I mean, I think when Final Fantasy is at its best, it's always striking a good balance between comedy and drama. Connor in the chat says, I think a lot of people would agree that FF6 might top the series, but FF6, but does FF6 have Don Corneo? Good point. It definitely does not have Don Corneo.
Oh, well, that's an answer.
And that's another thing too. And Connor, you do bring up a good point. Final Fantasies strike a good balance when it's both fun and dramatic, and there's lots of perverts.
Oh yeah, you need perverts.
You got to have perverts abound in your game. Otherwise, I'm out. And that goes for Dragon Quest as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't we get into the news here? We got some new game releases that came out, and I'm sure we are all hot to play games Alex, you may or may not be, but I know Hearn is all over Sins of the Solar Empire too.
All over it, baby.
On PC.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm all over it. No, I've not played that.
There's a game that came out that I'm like upset at the name and concept of this game. It's called The Godfeather, a Pigeon Saga, and it's not based on the Animaniacs.
Yeah, I was about to say
it's not based on the Good Feathers.
It's not. It's taking that exact idea and just ripping it wholesale.
Motherfuckers!
Oh wow!
We need to roll up on this studio,
dude. We absolutely need to roll up on this studio when we're not playing.
Godfeather, pluck that.
Yeah.
And that's of course when we're not playing the game Madden NFL 95 or 25. Sorry.
Oh boy! Did you hear about movie news about Madden?
I refuse to believe that's real. I think it's just
it's pretty ridiculous.
Big old prank.
Big old prank will be, but they're going to make a Madden movie about the making of the video game. I think, right?
Oh, it's not a John Madden biopic.
Well, it is in that sense, but only about like that specific chapter. I still don't know officially, but Nicolas Cage is going to be playing John Madden.
I hope he changes nothing from his performance in Long Legs.
That's just his character. I'm John Madden.
Didn't you guys feel like Longlegs was just Miss Doubtfire? Mrs. Doubtfire?
Oh, it was a drive-by fruiting.
and a bit over new release. There's no good new releases, but there is a game coming out soon, and I'm curious to know if I guess this would be more for Hearn because Hearn, you're a PS5 owner. You got one.
Yes, I do got it.
Black Myth Wukong. Any interest?
I think I've heard of it and seen it.
It's like the monkey.
Didn't have the that's what it is. Okay. Because again, this also like Rise of the Ronin was another one that I was curious about. That really came and went, and I never got into it. And I still haven't even gone into some of the other like big PS5 open-ended games that could have gone into, like Dragon's Dogma 2.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I'm probably not going to get into it this year if I do. I don't think so. I don't think I have the time. But
new releases, man. I feel like
tough.
I feel like everybody I know is not playing new games right now. I might have to do a whole episode on this. Like, I need to know what the heck is going on.
I do.
Like,
well, I know what's going on with one person who's not picking up any new releases.
And we'll get to it later. But yeah, like every episode I do, like first of all, I mean I have played a couple new things, but I would also say they were old things. Like the new games I played were like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which feels like an old thing that's now new, and Elden Ring DLC.
Yeah, I just played Spider-Man 2, and that's like last year, obviously. But on top of that, that's also like Spider-Man 2. Like what the Spider-Man games.
How'd you like it?
I thought it was pretty good. I think talked about in the Discord a little bit, and I kind of agree with a point user Chess Cheeto said about like the combat system's a little overwhelmed with itself and makes it a little spammy. But the narratives worked, and I think it's just fun to be in that world again. I think it was pretty easy, so didn't have a hard time with it, which is...
You like all that web slinging and wall crawling?
I sure do. That's my favorite parts of it.
Did you like all that Mary Jane?
Ooh.
If only it was that type of Mary Jane. But
yeah. Connor is in the chat says we have to wait until September 26th for Zelda's game, which that will be a new release. I will be playing on day one. I guess NES World Champion or Nintendo World Champions. I saw Hearn. You've been jumping on that every now and then.
Yes.
Cool to see. Did you unlock all the challenges and stuff?
Yes, I got I got at least an A in all the challenges, and then got a good amount of S's. I just try to, at this point, it's just fun to get into the World Championship and keep trying every now and then.
I kept getting S's on games that I wouldn't say I was necessarily all that familiar with. Like, I got an S on a lot more Zelda 2 challenges than I thought, or like Balloon Fight.
Yeah, especially Zelda 2 is like a very difficult game, but it's just cutting it down to the boss parts and giving you enough health to actually do it. So it's kind of like a cheat almost. But it is like, okay, now it almost gives you the confidence to want to go back and play Zelda 2.
Almost.
Yeah, I was about to say. Then your sanity hits in and goes, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty interesting how when you pick apart a game like that, it kind of makes it into a different game. So a playable one.
I was targeting in terms of pins, collecting not pins, I guess they're called icons, player icons. That's the thing that you can buy when you're done buying everything else. You can buy some of those. I targeted all the Mario 3 ones, so I got all those, including the $2,000 one.
Ooh.
Not too shabby. Anyway, okay, but I guess but to me, even though it's a new release, it doesn't feel like new because it's just NES games. Truly. Okay, what else is in the news? Oh boy. I'm trying to find stuff that isn't just a total bummer. Once upon a time I used to be like, no, we're going to talk about all the hard-hitting stuff. But it really is everything's bad. I mean, extra, read all about it. Every studio's closing, everyone's downsizing, no one has any jobs anymore. What even is this? What even is our economy anymore? I don't know.
Starting to think there's something rotten with this whole capitalism thing.
Yeah.
If only there was another way.
Yeah, yeah. Not if my parents have anything to say about it. Okay. Yeah. The Borderlands movie flopped.
Oh no.
Darn. Well, better luck next time, Borderlands.
Yeah. I want to be a fly on the wall for whoever pitched that movie to Cate Blanchett and got her to do it. They're like, look, I know you did Tar, but what if you did? I guess she has done a Thor movie, so there's precedent. She's done big franchise films before.
Mm-hmm. It's a weird crossover because everyone's discussed, video games and comic books do not mix.
I guess just like it's such a bummer because like if I was on her team, her whatever team of people, PR
decision
people,
maker,
decision maker, I'd be like,
trust,
I'd be like, no, you don't want you want to stay away from this wholesale. Do not come anywhere near Borderlands. But she clearly didn't have that. Went in, looks great. Movie
does it
stunk?
Does it look great?
No, I was saying she looked great. Like her costuming, her the characterization of her looks great. Eli Roth directed that movie. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Have we not talked about this? What do you guys think of that Borderlands movie? Is that nuts?
I try not to think about that.
There's like rumors
movie.
that he just like walked away from it at one point.
There were like reshoots or something, and I think it was Tim Miller of Deadpool, who the first Deadpool, who did some reshooting. So
yeah, I'd heard something about like they completely changed the script from what it was when they started filming. I don't know.
Oh yeah, because it used to be Craig Mazin, right? The guy from Last of Us, and then Alan Smithied it. But there's a new Alan Smithy, and it's another name. Do you guys know the name off the top of your head?
No, I don't.
No.
Oh, we can.
How crazy would it be if it turned like they made a new Alan Smithy name and it was just like your name?
That would imagine
That would
there was
be
like
cool.
a guy named Alan Smith. He was like, one day I'll get into the film industry, and then he finds out the first director who ever got pissed off about his project, like, I'm gonna name it after the worst name I could think of.
Guys, the name is so good. Are you ready?
Okay, yeah.
Hit me.
The name is Joe Abercrombie.
Oh, I love it. Imagine being Joe Abercrombie, like a real guy, and just being like, I'd like to apply for
the owner of the
job.
Abercrombie fortune.
Yeah. What's the new fake director's name going to be? Joe Fitch? Come on now. No, just imagine like applying to a job like in like the fake version of your name is just like already out there. So you're just like, I did all these terrible things, but look how many of them I've done.
Must be a joy to work with.
I've been working for like 70 years.
Connor McCabe live in the chat here, just going absolutely ballistic. I think the person who did a lot of the negotiating was a little man named George Washington. Wow. That was in reference to Cate Blanchett, why she did the movie. He's saying, money, people, cha-ching.
Gotcha.
Oh, I thought our forefathers visited her in dreams and convinced her to do the project.
No. They don't
They got tired of helping convince people to support democracy, and they're just like, what if we just went to celebrities' dreams and made them take iffy projects?
Just Lisa Simpson style, like, I'll do this movie for you, George Washington.
And folks, that's the news. Okay. Look, we got a main event that is hot to trot today. Alex,
Yo.
I guess out of the horse's mouth. Let's hear it from you.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about
because
what's been
Hearn and
happening
I
to me.
are ready. We're prepped. We're ready to go, but I want you to
You haven't really been on my side for this. I'll
want
say
you to
that.
explain to the audience because this is
Yeah.
I feel too overwhelmed with anxiety to explain.
Yeah,
Why don't you explain what's going on here?
All right. So, as everybody knows, it's a pretty hot topic. I have played through quite a few Yakuza / Like a Dragon games. Started back in I'd say November of 22. Picked up the first Yakuza game, and I thought to myself, what if I kept playing Yakuza games? Mm-hmm. So I played 2. I played 0. I played 3. I played 4. I played 5. I played 6. I played Like a Dragon. First time I ever played through a turn-based game. Fell in love. Top 5 game experience of all time. Recently, I finished Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. And I had this... Yep. I want you to save that energy for what's coming next, pal.
Okay.
Because I think everybody's been kind of on just, edge of their seat, waiting for me to reach the mountaintop of this gaming franchise. Inarguably the greatest gaming franchise of all time. I mean, I think there's just
the Like a Dragon
no beating it. There's no topping it. There's no other experience like it in video games.
Yeah. Eat shit, Metal Gear Solid. Eat shit, Zelda.
Yeah. All of you just burn in the netherworld, you jerks. Because that's it. That's the number one. I did it. I finished the best series of games of all time, period. I committed like a year and a half of my life. No, like more than a year and a half of my life to this. And I thought to myself, well, that's it. That's all, folks. I think I have to be done with video games. And to make sure...
Wait. Done with video games?
That can't be true.
Hear me out. Hear me out. I'm retiring from video games. And to make sure... Hear me out. I think we have a misunderstanding here. What I'm trying to say is that I'm never going to play another video game. And to make sure I never play another video game, I'm going to have my hands bronzed.
What the heck?
They're going bronze, baby. They're going bronze.
What?
I'm doing it. They're going to be solid bronze. They're going to be hanging down at the edge of my arms like big old door knockers. Completely immobile.
Alex.
Bronze.
I have so many questions. Like, first of all, there's so many other things to do with your hands other than playing video games. I mean, to bronze them?
It's the only way I can be sure I never pick up another game. I think I owe it to the series, you know?
I'm not going to lie. This is pretty concerning.
Yeah.
But right. My curiosity does have me wanting to know, have you figured out like a position for your hands to be bronzed in, or are you going to do like a hang?
Oh, yeah, is it going to be Spider-Man style?
Obviously, it's going to be a 2 thumbs up.
Okay.
Because if people ask me what I think of the Like a Dragon franchise, I'll be ready.
But if they ask you what you think of Deadpool and Wolverine,
flip those bad boys
you
down.
can flip them. Yeah, you can
exactly.
Flip them down. Yeah.
Exactly.
Very Ebert and Roper of you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
okay.
clearly,
in the spirit of Ebert
I'm
and
all
Roper, I do think that's probably the best hand position to bronze your hands in. But
Thank
Alex,
you.
You'll never be able to make you'll never be able to flip an egg off of a skillet again.
What's more important, eggs or honoring your favorite video game franchise?
Alex,
Come on.
You won't be able to spank your firstborn child with those hands.
Well, you know, I don't believe in spending time with your children.
So what are some other things you can't do?
You'll never be able to embrace your lover with an.
I got arms for that.
All right.
I got arms.
I didn't think that one.
Arms?
Yeah, I'm not bronzing my arms. I'm not crazy.
Listen, and this is on the record. I've never once brought my arms into lovemaking.
Yeah.
I've never once brought my arms in.
That's why I call you Rayman, because you're like, no arms for me, buddy.
Yeah, you guys have brought up some.
I'm the Rayman of lovemaking. Yeah. No arms.
That's what they've said. No arms.
I haven't played Rayman.
Nose and body and shoes.
Okay,
I haven't played Rayman.
I don't need to know that.
I never will, because my hands will be bronzed.
Oh boy.
Gosh,
it's happening. I'm going to have it medically bronzed.
On that. Oh, it's medical. Okay,
it's a medical. It's a risky procedure. It's risky. There is a chance I could die. But the good news is I found a doctor who hates me, and he'll do it because I might die.
Yeah. Wow. And one last question.
Yeah.
Why bronze and not something like gold or titanium or even adamantium, like our good friend Wolverine?
Again, video games and comic books, just two separate worlds. Just, you might as well ask a Capulet to date a Montague. It's disgusting.
True.
No, I think bronze is a very traditional. It's a very classic. It's very timeless.
Classic look. It's like a nice denim.
Oh yeah, people bronze the baby shoes once a baby is like finished wearing shoes. So
sometimes before.
Well, yeah, if that baby finished the Yakuza games,
sure, with their feet.
Yeah. How else? They have clumsy fingers. Of course they use their feet.
I think is an outrage.
I disagree. But I have agreed to hear you out.
Didn't expect him to disagree.
Yeah, but I have agreed to hear you. You said
your first mistake.
You really wanted to talk me out of this. You said it was serious. You said some other stuff that I wasn't really paying attention to. You kind of go on and on sometimes.
Thank God he wasn't listening. I was telling him my social security number. Okay, Hearn. Well, this is absolutely a crime to games and life itself.
It's not a crime. I've talked to the chief of police. He said it's not a crime and to get out of his office.
So are you saying if we can convince you to not go through with the procedure, if we can find a new game and perhaps even franchise.
Ooh.
That will and I do again, I don't mean this literally, proverbially wet your whistle.
I'm open to it. I am so confident in my decision.
And I do not mean literally wet your whistle. It won't do that.
I can't imagine a wetting whistle makes it sound better. You know? It would sound wetter.
Okay. Alex, do you mind if I borrow Hearn here for a second? I'm going to do a little sidebar with Hearn.
Absolutely. Okay. You guys are probably thinking maybe I have the right idea and you're going to look into your own hand bronzing. I get it. Go ahead.
Okay, Hearn.
Yeah.
Okay, so all we know is that he likes Yakuza.
That's right.
That's all we know.
I know, and you know more than me about him, but and I'm still like sure that that's all there is to him. So, all right. So he likes Yakuza.
He likes Yakuza.
Likes movies.
Movies.
Doesn't need to use his hands anymore. Yeah.
Okay, so we got to come up with I generate some ideas of games that are kind of like Yakuza, but like better and maybe sustainable because we don't want him to just finish a 3-hour long game and then just go right back to bronzing his hands. I mean, we want him to be busy for a while, I think.
Yeah, we need to keep him preoccupied. Okay.
Okay. All right. That's the goal. All right. I think we're on the same page.
All right.
Okay. Alex.
Break.
Yo.
And break. Okay. Well, it pains me to hear that you're even considering bronzing your hands. You have such delicate and beautiful hands. They haven't worked a day in his life, folks.
That's true. I have not.
I've never seen a hard day of labor at all.
Yeah, well.
Never seen this guy take out the trash, even. He just completely, he every time you ask him, he holds up his hands and goes, I'm sorry. Okay. Yakuza. What does Yakuza have going for it?
Let's see.
I've played some of. I've played some of Zero.
Yeah.
That's really the only one I've touched. Hearn, have you played any of the Yakuza games?
I have played Zero and Like a Dragon. Yeah, I played some of the spin-offs.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, I have played the spin-offs as well. So, nice try.
Darn.
Yep. First of all, I would say what defines the Yakuza franchise? Phenomenal characters, fists, sublime action. Let's just put it that way.
Sublime action, and we're not talking wrong way.
Nope. Sublime. Let's see. I would say spectacular game design. Heavenly side quests.
The city.
Kamurocho. Right? It's not a real place, but it's based on one. That's pretty neat. You can go out, you can get a drink, you can get some noodles, you could bash some guys' heads in. You can get an adopted daughter. You can You can face your past with your fists.
You can play arcades. You can play old Sega games in the arcade.
And I did.
Okay.
So I guess what you're trying to look for is a game that has everything done perfectly, like 9 to 10 times in a row.
Wow.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I think we can figure this out. Have you heard of the series that has been turned into a major motion picture recently, Borderlands? That's a pretty long, expensive game with a lot of stuff, and maybe some of it includes some of the stuff you're talking about. Like, I bet you're confronting your past with weaponry.
Yeah.
I did play Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
And
next option.
Oh no! Borderlands.
Sorry, Kate Blanchett. We're like Kate Blanchett in that role.
Is Claptrap.
Voiced by Jack Black.
Dude, can you believe he dumped his buddy?
That's
probably for an opportunity to do Borderlands.
We never talked about that on the show. It's pressing video game news. Okay. I'm gonna throw one out at you.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And this one's kind of cheating.
Interesting. I like cheating. It's how I win a lot of things.
I think Yakuza, what it has going for it is this sort of like, it has a lot of things that other games do, but it kind of like is like it's like a hub of like the kind of the coolest stuff from a lot of games sort of put together.
It's pretty perfect, all right.
Not unlike a Western game that is lightning rod a little bit, but mega popular. And that is a game called Grand Theft Auto.
Kind of a
Grand Theft
fringe
Auto.
choice, isn't it? It's one of those more underground titles.
Yeah, a little bit of a fringe choice, a little bit of an indie.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto characters abound.
Okay.
Writing.
Mm-hmm.
Facing your pasts. Yeah, I mean, all that stuff. You can't play Sega games in the arcade.
Ooh.
But that's okay, right? I mean, they can't. I mean, there's no other. And let me spin this in a different way. I actually think it's a positive thing you can't play Sega games in the arcade of Grand Theft Auto because it encourages you to get out of the house and play Sega arcade games at an arcade.
An interesting proposition.
And you'll have to call a buddy, and I'm there. And then now you're in community with folks.
Ooh.
And it's harder to have
two friends
community.
hanging out, like two bronzed hands.
No. See, I was going to say it's harder to hang out with friends when you have bronzed hands.
Oh.
Would you ever consider a GTA, and have you ever played them?
I played GTA 4. Had a real good time with that one. That was
really good one.
It was a really good game. It was
Hearn, what do you think?
It was like GTA almost Yakuza-esque.
Nico, my
quality.
I
cousin.
love Nico so much.
Yeah.
He's my cousin.
That was a good game. I played 5, but I had 5 on the PlayStation 3, and I moved on to the PlayStation 4 before I finished it, and I never picked it back up.
Dude, 5? I think it's 5. Yeah, it is 5. It has a mission that is just beat for beat the movie Heat.
I do love the movie Heat.
Pretty good.
I do love. You know what? I'm still pretty in love with the idea of bronzing my hands. I still think it's the right decision, but I'm not going to put that. I'm not going to cast that one aside. I'm going to hold on to it. I
also feel like those are longish games. Like they're games where you can invest a lot of time in if you want. You know,
I don't know if it would be the only game franchise I would play after the Yakuza games, but
sure.
If there was more than one game or franchise for me to engage in, maybe I wouldn't need to bronze my hands.
One thing GTA I think might be missing that Yakuza definitely has in spades is a charm. Like GTA
does
is
have
like
a lot of charm.
I do think GTA is a lot less charming than Yakuza, especially newer GTAs. Like
GTA kind of has that rude dudes with attitudes vibe to it that can rub some of us the wrong way.
Vice City and San Andreas. Yeah. I think Vice City and San Andreas have a lot of charm, but I do think 4 and 5. Why so serious? Deadpool asks. You know.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. I'll keep listening.
We got that on the back.
I'll keep listening.
And this is an interesting turn of events. I've never recommended GTA to anybody, so that's
you know anybody who's bronzed their hands.
Exactly.
You just know a bunch of cowards.
Hearn, what are you thinking?
I do know a bunch of cowards.
Yeah, and I bet they have nice flesh-colored hands.
That's the name of my baseball team.
The
Cowards.
Yeah, and they can all still play baseball because their hands are still akimbo. All right, this all checks out. I have to admit, you're making a pretty good case for doing this for myself because this might save me a lot of time.
No, wait, Hearn, no, you can't turn. No, you can't turn.
Pretty spectacular.
You're right. I'm sorry. We gotta help.
I almost got him on the Hearn turn.
No, I want to do it. Come on, guys. Let's get ourselves together here.
I'm just swayed by his confidence. All right. I'm thinking of games, like you said, that you'll have a lot of time to, that have a lot of refreshing elements to it. And I also know that you hate comic book characters. So as of Thursday, August 15, 2024, Fortnite is the game for you, buddy. No new season yet has started with Marvel characters or X-Men characters. So if you can find out a way to go back in time and only play it that day,
interesting
options, and it's always battle royale. It's always different weapons.
Wow.
It's like playing a real different game each time. And me and Kelsey have literally spent hundreds of hours in it. If you are planning on living your life through a normal time travel, which is just going forward in time with the rest of us, I probably can't recommend Fortnite to you in all honesty, because it's got a lot of Marvel shit in it right now. But
that'll end at some point. And
true.
what are the odds that they do a Yakuza?
Ooh, that would be cool.
Tie-in.
You could be Kazuru Kazu, and you could get
done Street Fighter.
Rick and Morty. Yeah,
they've done they've given Ryu a gun.
Yes,
I don't know how I feel about that.
It's gnarly and bad, but imagine if it's what's his name? Kiryu
Kazuma.
Kiryu Kazuma.
Kiryu?
Yeah. Okay, saying his name wrong just makes me want to bronze my hands more.
No, I'm not. I'm trying to say it right. Kiru.
You would be able to fight your past a lot with like all sorts of different weapons. There are fist-based weapons in Fortnite.
There are?
There sure are.
Okay, tell me one.
All right, one's called the Nitro Fist, and it launches you forward like a rocket.
Now, is the Nitro Fist using a bronze fist?
Say no. Say no, Hearn.
I think you can get a skin for it, and it's bronze. I'm sorry, Jeremy.
No!
That actually has some appeal to me. I'm not going to lie. I do like the idea of a bronze hand weapon.
I do think you have to play it with regular hands on a regular controller, though. So no, bronze fist.
Nothing's perfect.
Yeah,
I'm still on the fence, guys. I mean, I got to say the GTA thing really did kind of like it got some things moving.
Hearn and me also are traditionally not basic bitches, and we both just nominated two of the most giant franchises that have ever existed.
That's very true.
Yeah, but I'm proud of us for doing that, because normally we would nominate some like deep cut Japanese only game that Alex would be like, I have to buy a Sega Saturn for that? Like, yeah.
Yeah, and you have to buy one for us too, and copies for us too while you're at it. It's weird.
Hey, buddy, I'm not made of Sega Saturns. I have just enough money to have my hands bronzed. No more.
All right. Okay. I like this. I like Fortnite. We have GTA. Okay. Now, Alex. If you like Yakuza so much, why
don't I marry it? I tried.
Kidding. No, that's not what I was going to say. I was going to say, if you like Yakuza, that means you're probably open at least to other games in like the Japanese culture wing of gaming, where it's like you're sort of getting into, maybe a little bit of Japanese history, maybe feudal Japan style. Is there any of this? Do you like this?
How
Seems
do you like a reach to assume that another Japanese video game, like are they really known for their video games? I thought this was kind of a one-off.
No, I'm saying, like, do you like the era of feudal Japan? Is that as interesting to you?
I suppose I would be. I'm opening my ears.
Okay. Guy's favorite movie is Harakiri. I think he likes it. Okay. Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice, is a video game that I fell in love with that takes place in feudal Japan. It is a Souls game, which I know you've been recently sort of entrenching yourself into a little bit, dipping your toes in the water of a Bloodborne. This is a skill-based action game. It has characters, it has charm, it has depth, it has serious, amazing mechanics in it. It's a world-class video game. It's a little hard, and if it is too hard, I then would recommend on the back end Ghost of Tsushima.
I have played Ghost of Tsushima, and I did love Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay.
It's a great game.
If you like that, may I interest you in something that's, quite frankly, a lot better?
Oh.
That's Sekiro. Shadows Die Twice.
I'm not. I kind of assumed that the Yakuza franchise was really the only way to experience Japan through video gaming, but this has me intrigued.
And it's so hard, it might take you the length of playing all the Yakuza games in a row to beat just Sekiro. Hearn, you played Sekiro,
That's a good investment.
Yes.
What do you think of Sekiro?
Investment.
It is rad. It is very fun. And yeah, it's very difficult, but in a like you can hone your skill to it way. I think it was, even though it's like famously one of the most difficult Dark Souls games or From Software Souls-likes, it was one of the first ones I beat because I think you can't bend it to your will like you can in Dark Souls. Like you can't change up your equipment and stuff. You can't
level up, and you can't change your equipment. Yeah,
you have to famously get good at just that combat system. And I think that's it's a really cool combat system when you can actually make it fine-tune and like get into it. It's really challenging and rewarding for that.
It's awesome. I loved it. I had a great time with Sekiro, and I think it's really inventive, really creative. I think there's parts of that game that I'm just still like has me spinning out, and it's all based on Japanese like lore and history. It's really great.
You're moving the needle, pal. You're moving the needle.
Oh, I'm not gonna love that.
I'm not going to let pride get in the way.
And that's a heroin needle I'm moving?
It was, well, it's something that's moving right now.
I think we got time for one more, and I'm going to give it to the fabulous Michael Hearn.
That's good, because I think I'm one franchise away from making my decision.
Okay.
Right.
Either could go either way.
So what I'm hearing,
this better
Alex,
be fucking good, dude.
I hope so.
Better be good.
I'm doing at it a little differently, because what I'm hearing, Alex, is that what you're looking for is you're looking for love. Is what you're looking for. You're looking for another relationship after this one has ended. You're worried that you're never going to get out there and open yourselves up again. And I think also it's a game that there's a lot of acts of service you do in Yakuza.
It's true. That's true. I'm a very good person because I beat those games.
Yeah, and you're just giving, like Kazuya Kiryu is giving a lot to his community in all the games.
It's true. I did through him.
You feel like this sense of community through like all the people you touch in this game, and it's not a big world either, so you really get to know the ins and out of it pretty well.
I did feel very connected to a lot of the people that I encountered in that game, and not just the ones that I beat up.
That's good, because I think you're going to feel a similar connection to all the people in the series Hitman: World of Assassination, where you go. And it's not just in Japan, but you go all around the world and you touch people one bullet at a time, or wrench, or exploding car, or falling anvil. And it's all sorts of things like that. You can change up your acts of service to people in so many ways, and you're killing someone who definitely has it coming. So either way, you're making the world a better place for your service as Agent 47. And you are doing and it's just, you get to know the ins and outs of the community. You can always replay the levels and try different things. You can enjoy yourself at a nice barbecue in the backyard of a suburb, or go check out a NASCAR racing event. You get to live your life, get to spread your wings and fly.
That's Hearn. Wow. What a world-class suggestion. Not only do I think it's a great suggestion for the show, but I also think Alex would love these games, and I'm not sure you've ever played these.
After your relationship, it should be like your eat, pray, love, like internal like world traveling thing, except it's eat, slay, love.
Oh, and I love that slay queen.
And you can pray if you want. I'm not challenging your religious.
Could I pray over the people I assassinated?
Veto the prayer. Yes. I veto the prayer. Okay. I'm like a Bill Maher guy.
Okay.
Bill Maher type.
You know how you can't pray?
Hilarious?
Yeah, I'm hilarious.
Like hilarious. Bill Maher?
You can't pray like this, though, buddy. You gotta have.
Yeah, that's true.
But I could give one of these to the devil. I could give one of these to the devil anytime I wanted.
All right. I'll have to check with my pope if that's allowed.
Yeah, check with your pope. I'll check with mine.
Yeah. All right.
All right. You've given me a lot to think about. You both have.
Okay. So now that we're towards the end, Alex, we have to have an answer. Are you bronzing those dang mitts or not?
Do you think Kiryu would want me to bronze my hands to celebrate the Yakuza franchise?
Unfortunately, yes, I do think he would want that.
I think he would think it's pretty cool, but also.
But it's not. You can't live your life depending on what he thinks is cool.
You're right.
His life is kind of a mess, admittedly.
Yeah,
I should do it. You're right. I can't just do everything because he thinks it's cool.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Do
it because we think it's cool.
Yeah, you have to do things because we think it's cool.
On the one hand, you guys have brought up some cool franchises that I've either barely explored, I've barely explored, or haven't explored at all. On the other hand, if I had bronze hands, I'd always have a conversation starter, and people would know immediately that I was doing it out of my love for the Yakuza franchise. Ultimately, I think I still need a job, which means I have a lot of 8 hours of free time a day right now. I'm going to keep playing video games, guys. Yay. I'm going to keep doing it.
Oh, here we go. Yes. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Oh, yeah. Oh, Alex, not a great decision. Okay. And that does lead us to a segment I like to call a question of the week.
Riddle me this. Riddle me that.
And of course, we're talking questions, not riddles. Woo! Woo! Okay. These questions come from the Discord, baby. If you want to ask a question, you want us to read it live on the podcast, hop in that Discord. Check it out. I will, if you want to get in the Discord too, all you got to do is message us. You just got to message us. VGAcomedyshow@gmail.com. We can get you in there. You can also message, I guess I maybe I'll put an invite link in the show notes. No, I'll cut this out. I don't know how any of that works. Okay. Chaz Cheeto in the Discord writes, who is the best lil freak in games? Tingle? A FromSoft enemy? Someone else? And then Patrick Ellers, my enemy, my classic enemy, writes, and then follow up, who's the best big old freak in games?
Oh.
And then Chaz Cheeto says, why is Voldo the answer to both? Voldo is so funny.
Voldo's messed up. He scared me as a child. I won't lie.
Voldo is like the funniest character in games. I just think his whole vibe is just the worst. And he's like...
awful vibes. Have you read his backstory?
No.
It's so terrible.
Is it like a... What is it? Is it like...
He basically guards a rich man's treasure in like a completely dark vault and just like it warps his body and mind to guard a rich man. Like imagine meeting Elon Musk's personal security guard and he's just a fucked up guy who's really flexible.
I hate that.
I would kill myself, which would make him a pretty effective security guard, but
yeah.
I did doodle his wiki. Apparently his nationality is a Sicilian because he's originally from the nation of Sicily. I guess this is where the backstory happened in Italy.
Yeah,
probably.
As a fellow Sicilian, I can safely say this guy is up to some freaky shit no matter what.
Does not represent the good Sicilian people.
Yes. Oh,
right, the good Sicilian
He likes his pizzas and squares. Ugh.
You can't even do anything about it because he's got those scissor hands. You can cut it before you can do anything.
Exactly.
Awful man.
So who do we think? I mean, is Voldo the answer? I mean, is he the best little freak? I don't know. Little, I think
he's not little.
He's not that little.
No.
Yeah,
he's not that little. You know who the best little freak in games is? The little odd job from Nintendo 64's Golden. Just running around being dick height.
Especially when I'm playing him. He's a little freak.
Awful. Terrible.
Yeah,
he's a real Voldo of little guys.
I like little odd job. You know why was Odd Job so tiny?
I don't know. The man was like 6 foot in real life.
He's not tiny at all in the movies.
No, not at all.
Huh. All right.
It made sense that like Jaws that you could play, I believe, as tall because he is a very tall man.
Which was always a stupid choice because that just makes your target is so much bigger.
Yeah.
I have my own pitch for who the best little freak is.
Please.
Go ahead.
All right. I have Jets the Gecko from the Jets games.
Yeah.
The littlest, weirdest freak.
He's a little freak.
Always going in TVs and going into alternate worlds and then making fun of them to their fucking faces.
Well, that's just rude.
I know. And that's what you do. And it's Dana Gould, so you know those jokes are like rough and mean. So.
Oh, yeah. Hurt Feelings Boulevard, man.
I know. You're just playing as a bully. And
awful.
I mean, it's also, I assume Gecko size, so he, canonically
pretty little.
Yes.
Little guy. Probably.
Talking animatronic, weapon holding Gecko. So that's all freaky stuff.
That is freaky. Yeah.
Unpleasant to consider. Definitely
unpleasant. What do we think the best big old freak in games is?
I mean, is Voldo big enough to be a big freak? Because I do think he sucks.
I mean, if there was a medium-sized freak, I would think Voldo counted.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the biggest person that brought out the freak in everyone was Lady Demescu from Resident Evil 8 Village.
Yep, that's pretty good.
Pretty freaky.
Big old freak, baby. Big old
Nothing's freakier than when a lady is tall.
Yeah. Height 9 foot 6 inches. Man,
that's a freaky height. You switch that foot in that inch, buddy, you know what number you get.
Dude, that is freaky.
Lady D, get out of those castles and get your butt to the WNBA because you can sink those buckets.
She can definitely sink some buckets. She can dunk, dude.
Yeah.
Certified freak, 8 days a week.
Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes certified freak. Anyway.
I thought you'd have a sound effect for that.
Oh, yeah, certified freak. That's going to do it for Video Games, a Comedy Show, folks. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next week with something else. But before we go, let's plug Plug away, Alex Gaskin. Why don't we start with you?
All right. You can find me on Twitter at Alex_J_Gaskin. You can also find my stupid, weird newsletter, Ruptured Screen, which is making its big, stupid comeback.
Oh, I love when things are stupid.
It's a newsletter. It's going to have a weird new premise because I got bored with just doing regular stuff. So keep an eye out for that. I don't know when this episode's going to air, but the newsletter will hopefully be up before then.
Perfecto. Hearn?
Mamma mia. You can find my name is Michael Hearn. I am a filmmaker in the Los Angeles area, and you can watch my short films at michaelchearn.com, and you can follow me on Twitter at michaelchearn.
You can follow me on Twitter at Ocarina of Crime. You can follow the show on Twitter at VGA Comedy Show. Patreon.com/SuperNPC Radio. We'll be back next week with something different. Bye-bye for now.